Prince Harry and Meghan Markle facing criticism as members of the Invictus Games Foundation reveal a growing frustration with the royal couple. Let's bring in our News Nation entertainment expert, Paula Froelich, here with the scoop. Hello, friend.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have never been strangers to controversy. Since stepping down as senior royals in 2020, their every move has been analyzed, praised by some, and criticized by many. But while the couple has weathered storms involving the British monarchy, public opinion, and even their failed ventures in Hollywood, the latest controversy strikes somewhere far more personal for Harry. This time, the trouble isn't about Meghan's podcast flop, or Netflix documentaries, or even another cold shoulder from King Charles. No, this scandal comes from the one place Harry thought he was untouchable, the Invictus Games. For Harry, Invictus was more than just another royal project. It was his redemption story. Founded in 2014, the Games provided a platform for wounded, injured, and recovering veterans to showcase their resilience and courage. Harry poured his heart into it, using his military background to connect with servicemen and women around the world. For years, it was his proudest achievement, the proof that even if he wasn't destined to sit on the throne, he still had a purpose beyond palace walls. But now, insiders say, even Invictus is beginning to slip out of his grasp. Underscore 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 underscore. The cracks begin to show. The 2027 Invictus Games are set to return to the UK, a symbolic homecoming for Harry's signature project. Yet what should have been a triumphant moment is instead turning into a nightmare. Members of the Invictus Games Foundation are reportedly frustrated, with one former British Army major labeling Harry and Meghan narcissists. The scandal broke when Harry personally lobbied for royal-style VIP security during the Games. Not just ordinary event protection. He wanted the full royal package: snipers on rooftops, restricted zones, armed escorts, and taxpayer-funded resources. In other words, the very privileges he gave up when he and Meghan walked away from the monarchy. The audacity shocked insiders. This wasn't about protecting wounded veterans or international dignitaries. It wasn't about ensuring the Games ran smoothly. It was, sources say, about protecting Harry and Meghan from hecklers, from bad press, from embarrassment. And when his request landed on the desk of Invictus CEO Dominic Reed, the answer was swift and cutting. Reed reportedly told Harry, "This is a homecoming, not a battlefield. Do you still need security in your own home?" That remark leaked, and almost overnight it went viral. Underscore 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 underscore. The fall of the soldier prince. The sting of that comment was brutal, especially given Harry's past. He had once been celebrated as the soldier prince, admired for his military service in Afghanistan and his genuine camaraderie with veterans. Invictus had cemented that reputation, making him the face of courage and resilience. But now, to those very same veterans, he appeared paranoid, entitled, and out of touch. One wounded veteran put it bluntly, "We've seen war. We've faced death. We've dragged ourselves through protests and battles. And he wants protection from signs and shouting?" He's forgotten what this is about. The humiliation couldn't have been sharper. What was supposed to be Harry's moment of triumph had become a punchline. Memes mocking his request flooded social media with the phrase, "Do you need security in your own home?" trending worldwide. The irony was unavoidable. A man who once spoke of sacrifice and resilience now seemed consumed with fear, demanding privileges that no longer belonged to him. Underscore 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 underscore. Veterans push back. The fallout went deeper than a viral headline. Insiders revealed that veterans themselves were losing patience. Many felt Harry had become increasingly detached from the games. One insider noted, "He flies in once or twice a year, makes a big entrance, gets his photos, and flies out. It feels like PR now, not leadership." That single shift, from Harry's games to the veterans' games, speaks volumes. It shows how far Harry's grip has slipped. The Invictus Foundation began redirecting the spotlight back where it belonged, on the athletes. For them, the games are about overcoming injuries, celebrating resilience, and reclaiming pride. But when Harry and Meghan take center stage, the attention shifts away from the veterans and onto the couple's drama. And the veterans have noticed. They don't want Invictus to become just another platform for the Sussexes' endless battle for relevance. Underscore 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 underscore. Meghan's role in the controversy. Of course, Meghan Markle hasn't escaped criticism either. To many, her presence at Invictus has always felt calculated. Critics argue she turns solemn tributes into photo opportunities, arriving draped in designer clothing, cameras in tow. One commentator even described her as a scavenger circling the sacred, accusing her of turning veterans' sacrifices into backdrops for humanitarian branding. For wounded warriors who literally bled for their countries, this felt disrespectful, a grotesque theater of celebrity dressed up as compassion. And whether fair or not, these perceptions only fuel the resentment against both Harry and Meghan. Underscore 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 underscore. The money problem. The controversy isn't just about ego, it's about money. Harry's demands for elite protection would have required massive UK resources, police presence, military coordination, road closures, and even national security allocations. This, at a time when ordinary British families are already struggling with rising energy bills and a strained economy. The idea of spending taxpayer money to protect a prince who voluntarily abandoned his role infuriated the public. One sentiment echoed across social media: "You quit. You don't get the perks anymore." Polls back this up. Reports suggest more than 70% of Britons believe Harry and Meghan should pay for their own security whenever they visit the UK. Underscore 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 underscore. Silence from the palace. When news broke that the 2027 Games would coincide with Queen Camilla's 80th birthday, speculation swirled. Would the royal family attend? Would King Charles or Prince William publicly support Harry's project? The answer, insiders say, is no. The palace remains silent. Prince William, in particular, is said to view Harry's demands as self-serving and is unwilling to lend legitimacy to what he reportedly considers a charade. Without royal backing, Harry risks being sidelined at his own creation. Underscore 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 underscore. A reputation in freefall. What makes this scandal particularly devastating is that Invictus was supposed to be untouchable. Even Harry's fiercest critics once admitted that his work with veterans was admirable. Invictus was the jewel in his crown, the proof that he could stand apart from the monarchy with a legacy of his own. But by demanding VIP treatment and clinging to privileges he no longer holds, Harry has undermined that very legacy. The games will survive without him. They will thrive. They will continue to shine a light on veterans' courage. But Harry's role in that story is fading. One royal watcher put it bluntly, the Invictus Games aren't about him anymore. And that's the real tragedy. Without Invictus, what's left of Harry's credibility? Underscore 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 underscore. Hollywood isn't the answer. The timing couldn't be worse. Harry and Meghan's ventures in Hollywood are faltering. Their Netflix projects have failed to make a lasting impact. Their Spotify deal collapsed in embarrassment. Even Meghan's rumored rebrand has drawn skepticism. The couple once boasted friendships with A-list celebrities, but many of those connections have gone quiet. And without Invictus as a stable foundation, Harry risks losing not just influence, but relevance altogether. Underscore 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 underscore. A prince without a throne. Think about the symbolism here. The Invictus Games were Harry's brainchild. They gave him respect when his relationships with the monarchy were crumbling. They reminded the world that he had a purpose beyond palace walls. And yet, now, even that legacy is slipping through his fingers. The very veterans he championed are calling him out, saying in effect, "This isn't about you anymore." It's catastrophic for his image. Without Invictus, what does Harry truly have left? The bigger question. So here we are at a crossroads. The Invictus Games will march on, with or without Harry. The veterans will inspire, the world will watch, and the message of courage and recovery will endure. But Harry? He faces a harsher reality. Once admired as the soldier prince, he is now seen by many as a man clinging to privileges he abandoned, a prince who traded duty for fame, and who now finds even his proudest creation turning against him. And that leaves us with a big question. Has Prince Harry officially lost the one legacy he had left? Or is this just another chapter in a long series of humiliations before he eventually fades into irrelevance? One thing is certain. When the founder becomes the problem, the institution must protect itself. Invictus will endure. But Harry's place in its story is shrinking fast.